Hey everyone, Skull902 here for the finale of McDonald's Treasureland Adventure for the Sega Genesis, and in this level we're here in the moon, on this world rather. We're here on the moon, and it's got an interesting little gimmick, low gravity, much like my favorite Eggman level in Sonic Adventure 2, my favorite mech level in general, Cosmic Wall. You know, when you jump, you get so much extra height. And stuff like that, I just find it's like really fucking fun in platformers to be able to just like, you know, look at the height in the distance that Ronald got there. Like, I'm just completely mocking this section. You know, I'm getting hit every now and then, but it's all worth it because you know, I'm just able to jump as high as I want, or well, maybe not necessarily as high as I want, but you know. Jump super fucking high and super fucking far as well. So yeah, the moon's gonna pull some twists and turns on you, but generally not too much more difficult than the other worlds, and that boss fight is much easier. I'll say that too. The boss fight is much easier in this world than last time. Seriously, Captain Big Lips, go fuck yourself. But yeah, there is one thing that I wanted to start this whole shebang off with, and that would be, you know, in the first part, I did kind of rag on Josh for ragging on me for playing on beginner mode in the practice run that I did of this game, but, you know, there's also a positive involving Josh that I want to mention in terms of that practice run. So, like, you know, when we're playing video games, whether, you know, be for a practice run or, you know, maybe on stream or, you know, just casually speaking, and, like, there's no voice acting in them, sometimes the guys and I, mostly Rabid, sometimes me, and then every once in a while Josh will provide voices for the characters. So, just for instance, if any of you guys heard my Monty Mole voice in episode 39 of Sonic and Mario, that started off just completely randomly, you know, years before when the guys and I were playing Paper Mario. You know, the Monty Moles showed up, and I just thought that like gruff Southern American voice sounded exactly what the Monty Mole looked like, and they thought it was pretty funny. So that's how that came about. So, you know, plenty of in-jokes and, you know, character voices sometimes and whatnot will come about from these instances. And Josh, since he was the only person with me at the beginning of the game when I was practicing, came up with a voice for Ronald McDonald. He was also the narrator, but, like, his Ronald voice is specifically what I want to bring up here, because it was pretty fucking funny. You know, you're making Ronald McDonald sound like this with a muffled mouth and everything. And I don't know why. I just fucking love the thought of Ronald just, like, being unable to talk normally because he's just always scarfing down on cheeseburgers. You know? Beautiful stuff. So I do want to give Josh props for that. You know, I don't legitimately hate him or anything. I was just joking in the first part. You know, I have fun playing video games with Josh. It's just, you know, we rag on each other as a show of friendship. Like, if, you know, you can't be close friends with somebody, I think, and not, like, jokingly make fun of them every now and then. So you know, it's just the way things roll. It's just the way things roll. But yeah, before I get on to the main subject of the video, we saw the cutscene earlier, and I fucking love it when Ronald's going up to the ship, and then, like, the hands start coming out, so, like, at the same speed, and I think it's that running animation too, where he just, like, starts running off like, nope, but, like, it grabs him. That was some nice little comedy there. But yeah, what I mentioned briefly in the last part that I wanted to bring up in this one is McDonald's multimedia. And by multimedia, I more so mean, like, movies and original animations. I can't quite say TV because what I'm going to be talking about wasn't necessarily a TV show, but whatever. Let me just fucking get on with it already. So, yeah, like, most of the time in movies and TV and, you know, all this shit, McDonald's has usually just been, like, either just straight up ads or product placement. Which, you know, is fine, but they've also had a small history with, like, McDonald's-themed fiction and whatnot. So I just wanted to, you know, talk about some examples very briefly and whatnot. The first one is a movie called Mac and Me that was released in 1988. Ronald McDonald is very briefly in it as a performer at a children's birthday party, and they actually got like the legit commercial Ronald in there as well. Presumably because the movie was essentially just like, as far as the Wikipedia page is concerned, it was like just a big old advertisement for McDonald's, Skittles, and Coca-Cola. So I guess McDonald's put some money into it. The movie's a complete ripoff of E.T. and is considered one of the worst movies ever made. In fact, Squire Friedel, I believe his name is pronounced. He won like worst supporting actor at the Golden Raspberry Awards for playing Ronald McDonald in the movie. So a nice prestigious accolade for being in one of the worst movies of all time, apparently. Nice Golden Raspberry. I wonder if he has it. Like, you know, if someone accepted it for him, or maybe if he was one of the few people that accepted it himself. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, just a total ripoff of E.T. Just wanted to talk about that one a little bit. I haven't seen the movie, and I'm kind of curious, but at the same time, I don't think it's something that I would necessarily like go out of my way to look for. But two things that I did go look out for was some VHS giveaways. McDonald's did some giveaways of like original animated like shorts or episodes or whatever you want to call them in their restaurants back in the day. The first one was called The Adventures of Ronald McDonald, McTreasure Island. And it's basically a story where like Ronald and his buddies get sucked into a magic book, and that book happens to be Treasure Island, so they meet up with Long John Silver and Jim Hawkins and all that. They look for the treasure, and it's a fun little adventure. You know, not necessarily the greatest thing of all time, of course, since it is just a promotional animated movie and whatnot. But they got all the voices from the commercials, and Ronald's live action actor as well to voice the characters. Some of which actually surprised the shit out of me. Like, for instance, I didn't know that Russi Taylor was the voice of Birdie the Early Bird, or that Frank Welker was the voice of Grimace, until like looking into some information for that particular movie and whatnot. But you know, it's a passable little thing. You know, some plot contrivances here and there. But again, it's like, you know, it's a fucking promotional McDonald's movie made for kids. You know, it's not going to be perfect or anything. The other one was a series of 6 videotapes called The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, where like the comparison was with the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, as well as like the Back to the Future cartoon, where like it starts and ends with a live action segment, and then like there's a cartoon in the middle. And it's basically like Ronald has this tube where he like goes into the wacky world. You know, he turns into a cartoon, and it's all animated by Klasky Chupo, and they redesigned the characters. The McDonaldland characters look pretty fucking ugly, not gonna lie, in the Rugrats style. Like, there's some OC original characters, right, that they made for this show too, and they look fine. You know, But for whatever reason, like, they really failed on the McDonald's characters, except for Ronald, who looks alright. But, like, Birdie doesn't look very good. Grimace looks, you know, kind of off. The Hamburglar looks and sounds fucking disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, Charlie Adler. I love you, especially as the red guy from Cow and Chicken. But, like, his Hamburglar voice makes him sound like, you know, he was attacked by a bunch of knives and they only, like, went for his throat as a child or something. Yeah. Though I will say the character designs look much nicer in 2D than they do in CGI. That's a whole nother story. But they added another character as well, like another wacky suit character, exclusive to the show, so that's why I didn't, like, bring him up in part 1 when I was explaining what McDonald Land is. But they gave Ronald a dog, a very fucking ugly dog, named Sunday, who in the suit is portrayed by Vern Troyer, who was Mini-Me in the Austin Powers series. So I think that's an interesting little thing, was they had him play the dog, and whatnot. He was voiced by D. Bradley Baker, and he's a very monotone sort of guy like this, you know. He makes snide remarks and is kind of sarcastic, which is like what most of the characters' personality in that show is. So not great in the character department. Like Hamburglar, Birdie, the two OCs, and Sunday all, like, fucking have this particular character trait about them. I don't know what differentiates them in the show. But yeah, some more interesting things about it is like Birdie, for instance, she was voiced by Christine Cavanaugh, who sounds like she's having a really tough time going that high in range. Not you know, not something you'd usually see from Christine. But what's interesting about it is that the final tape in the series, which was also something of a rarity, you know, it was the only one that wasn't sold in McDonald's stores, but that's a whole nother story. But that one is the last new piece of media that she ever did, or at least in terms of release date anyway. It came out 2 years after she retired and 9 years before her untimely death. So you know, that's interesting for sure. And Kevin Michael Richardson as Grimace in one of his earliest roles. So, you know, some interesting stuff about the cast of Wacky Adventures, I'd say. It's definitely something I think, like, if you're into that sort of thing, you should at least watch one episode. I saw 2 before recording this. And, you know, it was worth a good few chuckles. You just kind of have to get over the unpleasant visuals. So, yeah. And now that we've defeated the Imp King, Ronald reveals that this whole journey was for nothing because he just wants to go home now. So it wasn't for the treasure, or maybe it was originally, but he decided to give up on the treasure after the Imp King fucking cried about it. His boss fight, I'll glance over briefly, because I was talking about other shit during it. But it's another interesting idea here. I think that Treasure came up with a bunch of interesting stuff for this game. But, like, he's traveling around, and every turn he'll cycle between, like, trying to steal your magic gems to eat, or firing a beam from his scepter in order to hit you. And you're on different levels, and there are different doors, and the doors correspond to which floor that you'll go on if you go through the doors. And of course, there's a slug that goes around in order for health to be picked up and whatnot if you need it, and everything. I think that that's a very interesting boss fight. Just wanted to talk about that, like, before it's too late and whatnot. So yeah, but I think interesting is just something that could describe this game in general. You know, I believe I mentioned it in the first part, but this whole thing was like Sega's test for them in order to become like an actual publisher or developer rather for the Genesis was, you know, hey, you're a startup company, do this game, and you know, we'll see what's going on. And you know, I think that it's fucking great that they didn't just shit this one out because it's a license. The president of the company, you know, was very adamant to the developers that they had to be respectful to the McDonald's property, and you know, just try to follow it very faithfully in order to make a game that you know, was good and whatnot. And I think that they succeeded. You know, this feels like a wacky sort of I keep using that word, wacky. But this feels like the sort of adventure that you know, Ronald and his buddies would be going on in, you know, some of the commercials. So I think that they did a very good job, not only just faithfully recreating the McDonald's world, but also, like, again, the gameplay, it works. It's simple and easy to understand. You know, at least for someone like me who sucks ass, you know, I can play the game on the easiest difficulty and beat it, but still not feel like I'm being, like, handheld. You know, and I'm sure for gamers who have much more skill than I do, that they feel like, you know, the difficulty is fair on whichever setting that they go for, and everything. It's just a fun little ride. Takes about an hour to beat, and I would seriously recommend this to anyone who's perhaps interested in playing it. I was introduced to the game from a video that Adam Koralik did. He randomly brought it up and said, you know, this might be a licensed McDonald's game, but like it's actually really good. Go try it out. And I did, and I quite liked it, and I'm glad to have brought this LP to you. It's a very nice game that I think deserves a little bit of attention. It's a hidden gem for the Sega Genesis and whatnot. So, yeah. Just a wonderful little thing, and I'm glad that things turned out well for Treasure being able to make Gunstar Heroes because of this game, and you know, being able to build off their reputation from that in order to make a bunch of games that people seem to really like. And you know, if this game is any indication, then maybe I should try out you know, some of their other stuff. This is their only game that I've played. At least to my knowledge, and you know, they're a pretty revered name for this era in gaming. So yeah, you know, glad that they were able to make a bit of a something out of their efforts here, and become a revered game development studio. But with that, next time I do an LP, it's going to be Donkey Kong Country 3: Dixie's Double Trouble for the Super Nintendo. So with that said, I have been Skull902, thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.